All right, hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. We're going to be continuing on the prototype that I'm making for this card-based auto-battler roguelike thing. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that I have Gunforged available for sale, so if you're interested, check out this game, purchase it if you want to support my work, or if you think the game looks fun, you can also wishlist it and wait for it to go on sale if you prefer that. I also have Udemy courses available for sale if you want to learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. So check out all that. That's all linked in the description below. And yeah, so today I'm going to be continuing work on this prototype that I've been working on for a couple weeks now. And the thing that I'm currently working on, which I've been working on for a couple of streams, is getting these descriptions to be generated. So cards can be composed of any number of abilities, and getting plain English language descriptions generated to accurately describe the cards based on their ability configurations is proving to be a little bit challenging. So I've been experimenting with a couple of different approaches here. The newest approach that I'm trying is just radically simplifying this, where any modifiers to any abilities just get added as like bullet points underneath. So you can see that in this phylactery here, applies 0 poison, and then this would be a bullet point underneath it that says grows by 2 per allied poison applied. So there are still challenges with this approach, but I think that this is going to simplify things a little bit. I have to add the highlighting back in and all that stuff. And also I'm going to need to reorganize this screen to properly show bullet points. Probably will maybe just move that over to the right hand side, or move the card art to the left over here. Yeah, we'll have to see what's up here, but that's kind of what I'm working on. This newest solution I think is working great. I think what I need to do next is I need to be able to put a blurb down here on what it affects. So for instance, the incense here reduces minion cooldown. I think what I want to do in here instead, for instance, is say reduces cooldown by 1, and then have a sort of blurb underneath this, or a bullet point is the word, that says applies to adjacent minions or whatever. So I'd have some kind of bullet point under here that actually indicates what it applies to. So this would become something like applies 0 shield, adds 1 shield per allied ritual card, or something like that. So that's what we're doing. Hello, Dione, welcome. Good morning to you as well. You're using composite design. Yeah, I'm composing abilities out of different types of abilities and all that good stuff. So yeah, let's do one thing first. Let's add, so I'm using Cursor AI again, still to create this stuff, which is dramatically improving my ability to iterate on this. So I'm going to say add the keyword and tag highlighting to simple description generator as it is in at description generator. So we want to add the keyword highlighting here. I think that's going to be relatively straightforward. The AI should do that just fine. So yeah, this simple description generator, basically, I'll just need to add, as I add new abilities, I'll need to add some description stuff in here. But I think that should be fine. I'll probably modify a bunch of this verbiage in here. So accept those. All right, let's see if that worked. So that should add highlighting for keywords like poison and damage. Yeah, so poison there. And also if I have ritual there, ritual card. So So this doesn't say applies shield for some reason. Why not? Why not? I wonder if I should get rid of... Let's go ahead and open up the embalming fluid here. Do I even need to use a scalable ability? I don't think so. Dynamic magnitude ability. Oh, you know what? What did I refactor? Oh, never mind. Okay, we're good. So, yeah, the scalable ability is a problem here. Where's my embalming fluid? Where is my embalming fluid? Here it is. Scalable ability, new scalable ability. So the problem here, there's not an appropriate description being generated. Scalable ability, where is that? Get scalable ability modifier. So the problem with this is that it's not showing that applies shield here. So this should say applies 0 preserve and scales by 1 per allied ritual card. That's what it should say. This turn consumer is also wrong too. This is also wrong. These are fine. Yeah, this is good. So this is basically what I'm going for. Deals 1 damage, grows by 1. So these descriptions are very, very difficult. I'm kind of... at the point where I might abandon, because the whole reason I'm doing all this description stuff is because I want to support the ability to generate random abilities, but what I might do instead is I might just make meta abilities that I can write explicit descriptions for, and just create a bunch of collections of meta abilities. So instead of just like randomly combining a bunch of stuff, I could say, well, here is like a poison growth ability, and then I can just explicitly write that out, and then also I can then write a description for it, and then I don't need to worry about generating descriptions. The problem is that reduces the amount of flexibility I have down the line if I want to create a bunch of different things. Although I don't know, maybe that's not a problem. I think I can keep my ability composition stuff and then just like write the specific abilities the way I want them. So I could create like a meta ability, which is just like a pre-configured set of abilities, compose a pre-configured composition of abilities. I think that would dramatically simplify things. And then if I wanted to create a random card, I could just choose from the list of pre-configured abilities. So I guess that maybe that would be the best of both worlds here, where it's not totally random, where I'm still designing like meta abilities, like collections of abilities. I'm pre-composing sets of abilities, and then I can, when I randomly generate a card, I can just slap on any number of those things. But then the benefit is that I can also write the descriptions for those things. So there are still going to be some considerations to be made. But I wonder... The other thing is I'm not entirely sure even how I would randomly generate abilities using composition. I'm going to have much of the same problem where, like, I'm going to have to figure out what works with a turn consumer and what works with an ability tracker and all that stuff. And I think that's going to be a little bit messy. So, okay. So here's what I'm going to do then. Let's do another little experiment here. Let's do another experiment here. So I'm going to go to my file system here, ability. I don't know if I want to, I'm going to call it like composed, I guess. Composed ability. So then I'm going to create like a poison, turn, consumption, something like that. And this is still going to implement ability, I think. I wonder if I could create, let's see. Let's create a new file, base composed ability. Let me go to my base ability here. Okay, namespace game.data.ability composed. This extends base card ability. Public abstract void. We don't need that. I'm going to do a public abstract string get description. No, get description. Okay, so then in my poison turn consumption, I'm going to say namespace. This is going to be, yeah, base composed ability. This needs to override execute. And then I can do in my public poison turn consumption. I don't want that. I might want to make these configurable in the future, but let me look at the phylactery here. So essentially what I'm going to do is, oh, you know what? Let's do I composite ability. Get abilities to execute. So this is an I composite ability. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this stuff, put it into here. Ability tracker. Ah, so that's already a problem that I need to address. Is this not, let's see, ability tracker, execution context. Do I not have the, yeah, I've got the card stats here. So actually, card stats, oh wait. What I don't have is the card that this ability belongs to. I see. Base composed ability. Yeah, I think I might need to store a reference in here for which card this ability belongs to. Because I can't, as of right now, I have no way of doing this part. So let's see. Why is it so dark here? So as it is right now, I have no way of doing this part because I don't know which card this ability belongs to. So that's fine, I suppose. Let's go to my base composed ability. Let's do protected read-only list abilities. I might as well Well, that's fine. So anyway, this is what the composite ability would look like. And then what I'd essentially do in here is I'd just execute all of the abilities associated with this. So this just becomes a wrapper for a more complex set of abilities. But then the benefit now is that I can just put the composed abilities in the cards directly. And then when I go to randomize cards or mix cards together with the alchemy system, I'll just mix the composed abilities so that way the descriptions all get updated. So let's actually write a description here to see what that will look like. So poison turn consumption, I forgot. Oh, is this turn consumer? No, this is actually wrong. I think I took this out of the phylactery. Yeah. So poison turn consumption. So this is poison. I don't know. I'm going to call it poison applied growth. And I could also make these configurable too. So if I wanted to change, if I wanted to supply what the multiplier is in here, I can make that variable, and that can give me a little bit more randomness as well. I think this approach is going to be the best of both worlds. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Just got to figure this part out, but let's write this description here. Return applies 0 poison. I don't know, do I want to do /n? Poison grows by 2 every time allied applies poison. So now that's so much easier. I can just write that out. Now I do want to highlight this, but let's not worry about that just yet. So now I got to figure out this base card stuff. So I probably will need... this is going to be a problem now. I probably will just need to pass in the card that it belongs to. Oh wait, can I just do this? Ability is not equal to this. No, is that gonna work? No, because the problem is that... Come here, cat. The problem is that if I have a card that has multiple poison applications on it, which is a possibility, then the other applications of poison are going to like buff itself, which is not what I want. So context card stats base card not equal to this. So yeah, I basically need, you know what I'll do? Base card. Let's do this. Let's create a public. This is going to be kind of sloppy, but public bool has ability. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. We want to go to base card. Public bool has ability. Return get all abilities contains. Yes. Okay. Cool. So we want to say has ability this. Okay, that should work. So it's just going to iterate over all the abilities. That's fine. I don't really want to store the card that the abilities belong to inside of the ability class. I think that's probably not going to be good. So now I've got my poison applied growth, which is a base composed ability, which extends base card ability and composite ability. This return abilities. Okay, so now if I were to go and edit my phylactery here, what I would do is I would say var poison applied growth is equal to new poison applied growth. So that's my composed ability. And I just go ahead and add that. Okay, so now in my card inspector, what I'm going to do actually in my base card is I want to collect abilities recursively. Where is this used? I actually don't think that this is necessary anymore. Execute abilities for life cycle tick. So this is probably going to change, but I'm not going to do that just yet. What I'm going to do instead is, yeah, let's just go to the description first. So we'll go to card inspector and here, top level abilities, we're going to do dot where x is base composed ability. Okay, and I'll rename this to composed abilities. Now this should just be as simple as doing composed abilities dot get description. Is that not? Oh, I need to do it as. Or dot cast. Oh wait. Ability dot get description. Is that cast unnecessary? No, I think that cast is necessary still. Yeah. Okay. So this is only going to work for the phylactery right now, but apply 0 poison. Poison applied grows by 2 every time an allied card applies poison. So now that is a single composed ability. And let's see if this actually works. So when the snake executes, so that description is not correct right now. Oh, is it because I think I probably did something dumb here? Yeah. So this needs to be now. What do I do here? Dynamic poison ability. Oh, okay. Private read-only. Dynamic poison ability, or dynamic magnitude ability. Dynamic poison ability. I probably want the value scaler as well. Private read-only. Value scaler. So now I can say dynamic poison ability dot target ability dot get magnitude. Is that not a thing? This should be changed to I ability magnitude. Maybe not, actually. Okay, we'll leave that alone for now. I'll just put an as I ability magnitude in there. Poison applied grows by value scalar get multiplier every time. So now that's being updated. So let's take a look at that. Boom, applies 0 poison. Okay, so that's working now. So now we just got to make sure that description is being updated. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Nice. So you can see that this is ticking up. So that's exactly what I wanted. I want players to be able to inspect a card while the game is running to see what its current stats are. So that's perfect. So now... the question is resetting. I'm going to need to reset all these states. Do I have a reset in here? Oh, I do. Where's this being called? Okay. So I just have to make sure to call reset on anything that is resettable. I might do another interface that's like a resettable, so I can just iterate over everything that's resettable and call reset on it. Because I don't want this to be a permanent buff. This is just going to be a buff that happens during the current combat encounter. Okay, so that makes sense. So let's go ahead and let's see. I still don't know in here. I probably should, at the base card level, I should only return composed abilities. Or though, is that what I want to do? So I'm thinking of the case where I have like damage. So this is just a straight up damage ability here. I don't think I need, it would be kind of redundant to turn this into a composed ability that basically just contains a damage ability. Might be good for effectiveness, but maybe I should still support non-composed like top level abilities like this, in which case I'd have to add a description to it. I think it'll be cleaner just to wrap this in a composed ability. So basically these are anything in this folder here is going to be the building blocks for creating abilities. So these are going to be the composition blocks. And then those are all going to be wrapped in composed abilities, which are more hard-coded in the sense that like I'm building out the behaviors that I want for the ability and then writing a description for it. And then these composed abilities, any number of composed abilities can be added to a card. And then I can offer some element of limited configurability with this. So I could accept a constructor argument here that changes any of these parameters in here. So I think that's the way I'm going to manage it. That's going to give me the best of both worlds, like I said, between having control over how the descriptions are generated, but then also being able to randomize things. And I think it's actually going to simplify the randomization of cards, because now I know that a composed ability makes sense from a gameplay perspective. Like any composed ability, it's going to be something that just has a combination of these ability building blocks that makes sense and works together, rather than trying to create a system that can procedurally generate abilities that make sense. So I think that this is a a good approach. Hello, Rima, welcome. Okay, so now that I've laid out a pattern here, I'm interested to see if the AI is going to be able to create my other composed abilities for me. Okay. The architecture I have built includes building block abilities in that ability. These building blocks are used to write composed ability implementations which are in at composed. I need to migrate the abilities defined in anything into a composed ability implementation. For example, Scarab should be migrated. Scarab abilities should be migrated to a class called damage execution growth that extends base composed ability. Scarab should be updated to contain only this composed ability. Do this for all card implementations. All right, let's see what happens. Hello, Damien. Welcome back. I'm in a good mood today. Sunny and kind of warm here in England. Hasn't been nice recently. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Yeah, it's getting nicer here as well. It is only 48 degrees here, but we had a nice day a couple days ago. 65, 70 degrees. It was nice. We also had thunderstorms and tornadoes, so that's another thing. But we won't talk about that. Okay, is this doing it properly? It seems to be. Actually, this execution, can I override? I don't think the damage and poison makes sense. So I'll have it undo the damage and poison stuff. And there's some query issues in here as well. But this will get me started. This will get me started for sure. If it was 60 here, you might get immediate sunburn if you go outside, yeah. I don't know what the conversion is to Celsius. In Fahrenheit, 0 is really cold and 100 is really hot, but both are survivable temperatures. So 60 degrees is like kind of chilly. Let's see. This looks like it's doing pretty well, actually. Simple damage. Yes, simple damage. That's what I want. You can... I'm going to resume the conversation. Go, AI agent. So I think what I'm going to do for my base card is I might change this so that base cards can only accept... composed ability types, and all the cards are going to work off of composed abilities. So that's going to prevent me from being able to add regular base abilities. So essentially a composed ability is going to contain any number of regular abilities that get executed. But then the card is only going to accept types of composed ability. And then when I go into my alchemization that I want to do for the game, I can just take composed abilities from this one, composed abilities from this one, and just combine that all together. And that's going to be very, very straightforward. So yeah, there's a couple of things that the AI is doing here that I don't like, but we're going to have it correct those at, you know. Oh, it's smartac. Look at this. What are you doing? Got my coding buddy here. Check him out. You want to say hi? Oh, that's funny. Okay, so it migrated everything. So let's go ahead and review all this stuff. I'm just going to say accept all because I think it's fine. Okay, so adjacent minion speed. I think that's actually fine. I'll need to update the description if I want to change the tags that it applies to, but I think for now this is fine. I'll handle that later. I will handle that later. Let's take a look at damage and poison. I don't like this, so let's have it rework this. So rework, remove damage and poison. Instead, use simple damage and simple poison. Did it create a simple poison? Simple damage. I like that it called it simple damage. That's cool. Huh? So we're gonna have it fix that. From 23 here, it feels quite warm. This is multiplied by being British. Constant bad weather has conditioned us not to handle anything pleasant well. Oh, yeah. You have a creature that's the shape of a cat, is that? Oh, cat needs to be buried. Okay. So what did it do here? Create a different approach. What are you trying to do? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Something went wrong with this agent. How's the LLM assistant feel so far directly in the IDE? Feels great, yeah. Feels awesome. Saving me a ton of time. So I don't know if you've been here for a bit, but I basically just kicked off a migration that I wanted to do by writing the implementation that I wanted first. And then I basically said, follow this example and do the rest of it for me. It just like corrupted the file and oh my gosh, what are you doing? Dude, what are you doing? Okay. We're just gonna cancel this. Try it again. Sometimes it goes off on a limb and you gotta just The nice thing about the cursor though is that you have these checkpoints, so every time you implement or input a different command or request to the LLM, it creates a checkpoint of the files for you. So if the AI goes wild, you can you can just revert back to that checkpoint as it was before you ran the command. And so if you need to retry something, you can do that. So I don't know what happened before, but it did this correctly now. So that's great. So now let's go ahead and check. So poison from turn consumption here. Apply magnitude poison. Poison increases when cards remain on cooldown. That's not correct. So I'm going to have to change this. Poison applied. Is equal to number of turns consumed. Reset minion cooldown. This is enemy. Resets the... That works. Ritual scale shield. What does this one say? Find Claude 3.5 much better at Godot code than 3.7 for some reason. Are you using C#? Sonnet is having major issues today. Okay, good to know. So we're going to rename this. To the reason I'm telling it to rename it in here instead of doing it myself is because I think when you try to make changes yourself outside of the context of this chat, it can like get confused and undo those things. Okay. So we've got simple poison, tag scale, shield. So this is going to have to be dynamic based on, I want to be able to apply to pass in tags in here, I think. But I'll do that in the future. But that would be as simple as just saying like I could pass in some constructor arguments here for like which tags do I want it to target and so on and so forth. Again, I'm going to let the game kind of, as the game develops, I'm going to figure out how to modify these composed abilities. But this is working great. Reset minion cooldown. I don't like that. I'm going to rename this to tag reset cooldown. And then I'm going to need to also actually keep that there. Rename this to tag reset cooldown. Okay. Alembic, poison from turn consumption. That's good. Bombing fluid, tag scaled shield. Yep, that's good. Incense, adjacent minion speed. Let's rename this to tag adjacent speed. Okay. All right. So tag adjacent speed. So incense, poison applied growth, damage execution growth. This damage execution growth should be just new damage. Yeah, that's fine. Skeleton Warrior, that's just simple damage. Simple damage is a composed ability, but all it has is a damage in there. So that's fine, because that allows me to write a description for it. Simple damage, simple poison, perfect. Okay, so I think all that's good. Let me go to Godot. Is it going to generate UIDs for me? Let's actually restart Godot. It's got to generate UIDs for all those things. You're using GDScript? Okay, yeah. Yeah, C#, I think there's enough data on the internet for C# to be useful with the 3.7. Hello, Neozoid. Alrighty, so the next thing to do, I have a lot of changes. I gotta go through a bunch of I'm working on a branch right now. I'm just destroying everything, but I think the next step is to do this base card. And in here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say base composed ability. And that's all that's gonna happen. And I don't think that they're gonna be nested. So this is no longer necessary. So we're just going to return abilities, get rid of this. Get top level abilities is not necessary. We're gonna do get abilities here. If ability is iBoard queryable, oh shoot. Okay, let's do this. Get composed abilities. We'll put that back. Get rid of this. This has to be, so the thing is, I still need to reach into these composed abilities and figure out which are the abilities that are going to be executed. So the composed abilities is just a wrapper for the list of abilities, essentially. Why did board inventory component change? Okay, anyway. So because in order to determine if there is an ability that's going to be executed, I actually have to reach into those composed abilities and see if any of their abilities will execute. And then in here, I need to keep this, so this get all abilities here, I need to keep that because that's where all the target information is going to be applied. So I actually think that's fine. Mostly, I only want these composed abilities for accessing externally. Actually, I probably don't even want this to be public either. Yeah, I probably don't want this to be public either. I'm gonna run down here. What is this complaining about? Oh, it doesn't like that. What? No. So I can get composed abilities, I can check if it will execute abilities, and I can call execute abilities for lifecycle tick, but I'm going to prevent... Where is this being used? Card UI, update stats. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to rework that as well. That's fine. Reset all ability execution counts. Reset execution count. So that's gonna need to change eventually. I think this is fine though. So basically what I want to do now is get composed abilities to list. So now what I should be able to do is for each var composed ability in composed ability list. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Explained ability types, yeah, so maybe I do need this. Gee dang it. Okay, well, if I need it, I need it. Rename this to composed abilities. This is not going to work, I guess. Although the base composed ability is a composite ability, so maybe it will work. Target collection.add ability. Oh yeah, we want to exclude. We want to exclude composed abilities from this. So basically this is just going to be collecting all the individual abilities. Shoot. You know what, actually? Maybe I shouldn't be... I don't think I should actually be executing the abilities in here. Do I want... So what's essentially happening here is I've got my composed abilities. They're containers for sub-abilities. So why is it so dark? My composed abilities are containers for sub-abilities. And these containers are basically just ways of moving chunks of functionality around. So having an ability that grows, that has poison damage grow per turn, that is just wrapped in a composed ability so that I can tie those things together, that growth behavior together, but then also write a description for it. However, I think the composed ability should be largely transparent, meaning that it shouldn't actually have any functionality. The execution can be handled in the base card. What the base card is going to do is basically decompose all of those abilities and execute them in order. And I think that's fine. I think. So what's happening in the base card here is this collect abilities recursively. It's basically going into the composed ability now, finding all of the sub abilities and just putting them into a flattened list. And so when it goes and executes the abilities for a card, it literally just executes the abilities one at a time. And some abilities will have effects that require animations and some won't, like this dynamic magnitude ability. All this does when it gets executed is it just updates the magnitude of whatever its target ability is. So whatever ability it's affecting, it will just modify that, but it doesn't do any animations or anything. So I think what I want to do with these base composed abilities is I actually want to make them composite abilities, yes, but in the actual implementation here, I don't think that I want to do this execute here. I think I just want to do null. So base composed ability, public, can I do this? Am I allowed to execute? So just do nothing here. And then in damage execution growth, I don't need to actually, in these composed abilities, do any execution. So again, these are just going to be containers now for chunks of abilities. And then the base card is going to handle iterating recursively over all these abilities and executing them in order. So I actually don't need any of that stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to my base card here and just make sure that all makes sense. So get all abilities, collect abilities recursively. We can now add the base composed ability to that as well, because calling execute on it isn't going to do anything. Okay, and then what I can do here is I can actually just print all abilities there. I was just trying to get the AI to finish that for me. So it's now I'm going to just print this and make sure that the ability list is sensible here. Get composed abilities. Okay, so now if I go to my card inspector, get all abilities, that's looking for explanations. That's fine. All right, well, let's see what I broke. Hopefully the rules I sent you were good enough for a base template. Yeah, I mean, I didn't use those rules exactly, but I kind of just set up my own stuff. But thank you for the email. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, so let's go ahead and add the phylactery here, and we'll just begin. We'll see what this output says. Oh. Poison applied growth. So this is a good example here. So this is the poison applied growth. I believe that's coming in the phylactery here. Yeah. So you can see the recursive aspect here. So it's adding poison applied growth first, then it detects that there's an ability tracker it needs to execute, then there's a dynamic magnitude ability it needs to execute, and then there's poison finally. So this is sort of the flow of data. And to look at this here, this poison applied growth, you can see that it adds the poison tracker, which is an ability tracker here, and then dynamic poison ability, which is dependent upon that poison tracker. Register update listener. I actually don't know how that works. On ability update. So anyway, when the poison tracker executes, I think what happens in here is it's notifying all the listeners. And then what that does in the dynamic magnitude ability is it updates the magnitude. So that's kind of the flow. So it goes from poison applied growth to update the ability tracker to update the dynamic magnitude to apply the poison ability. And so this dynamic magnitude ability is a composite ability, so it stores a list of abilities that it's responsible for, but really it just returns a single target ability there. So the reason I don't need to add poison ability to this list of abilities here is because it's owned by the dynamic poison ability. So anything that's owned by a composite ability does not need to be explicitly added to the ability list of the composed ability. So yeah, so that makes sense. So let's see if this actually ends up working here. Hello, Turbo Shook. How you doing? So let's go ahead and have the Viper go. And what should happen is when the Viper applies poison, we should see that the phylactery is updating, yeah. So there's 4 poison. It should go to 6 after this gets applied. 6 poison, yeah. So that's working perfectly. It's working beautifully. And so now our descriptions are going to be much, much, much simpler. Cool. All right, so I'm going to commit all this before the AI decides to mess me up. New composed ability system. I really do think that this is the best of both worlds now. I'm cutting a little bit of flexibility in terms of being able to randomly generate abilities, but I think I will still be able to add enough flexibility into the game by just writing a variety of composed abilities and then also being able to modify those composed abilities to some extent. Like I said, being able to supply constructor arguments here to change various elements of this composed implementation, like change the multiplier or change whatever. The only thing is that with this system, the composed abilities won't be able to interact with each other really, but I think that's fine. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to highlight keywords here. So I'm going to need to I'm going to need to delete a lot of the stuff that the AI did before related to the description. But there's one thing that I want to keep. So here I'm going to tell it to do this. Remove any code not related to highlighting keywords and card tags. Okay, I'm going to tell it to do that. While it's doing that, I'm going to take a 2-minute break. In the meantime, you can check out Gunforged and my Udemy courses. Those are linked in the description below. Again, I'll be right back in 2 minutes and we'll see what this AI is going to do while I'm away. Alrighty, I'm back. Let's see what this did. Highlight keywords, apply highlighting. Yeah, we don't need... Okay. We also don't need ability description. Anymore. Only keep string-based highlighting functionality. This kind of stuff is where the AI really shines. Like, I could have gone in here and like scrolled through and said, yeah, I don't need this, I don't need this. But if I just tell it, I only want to keep this stuff, it's so much faster to just have it go in and delete those huge chunks of code for me. And I don't need these ability descriptors anymore. For each, oh no, maybe I do. Pair keyword color. Yeah, so I no longer need the verb. Oh, I forgot my drink. BRB. All right, I'm back. What did it do? Accept. Cool. So now I can just define what colors I want to use for various keywords in here and keep the highlighting here. The highlighting is very simple. It just looks for strings that match any keywords or any tags here, and then it just applies a regex to replace the text with a color code, because I'm using rich text labels to be able to highlight individual words. So now this simple description generator, what I'm going to rename this to is I'm going to put this into probably util. So, shoot. Okay, I need to go to Godot for this. Simple description generator. We're going to move this to util. Okay, and then we're going to go in here. This is game.util. Let's rename this to description utils. And public static string highlight keywords. We need the card tag in here. Cool. So now in the card inspector, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply, in this composed ability, get description. Oh, yeah. Description utils, highlight keyword. Boom. Okay, did I break anything? Oops. Did I break anything here? Oh, I still have a gd.print in here too, don't I? Get rid of this. Okay, so let's see if that worked. Too many things on your mind to keep track of everything. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Boom, there's highlighting. Apply 0 poison. Poison applied grows by 2 every time an allied card applies poison. Apply 1 shield. Shield increases for each increases by 1. So I should update that. No, wait. That's actually wrong. Let's go to, what is it called? Tag scaled shield. Let's do 0 here. Shield increases by 1 by, this is where I need, oops. Multiplier. Oh, do I need a get multiplier in here? I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe my scalable ability is not relevant anymore. The only difference between the scalable ability and this value scaler is that the value scaler is just a flat scale, but the scalable ability, this actually has the additional functionality of querying the board. So this is the class that can support doing things like this, where the shield increases by 1 for each ritual card. And I'm going to say for each allied ritual card. So I think there's probably some room to streamline this a little bit and make this work with a value scaler. So the scalable ability then just becomes like a query kind of ability. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But anyway, let's go back in and see. Let's go back in and see. Apply 0 shield. Shield increases by 1 for each allied ritual card. So if I do this, let's just make sure that that works. Oh, it applied 0 shield still. That's nice. Why did it apply 0 shield? I gotta figure that one out. Print the magnitude in there. I don't know why this would have broken. I didn't really fundamentally change anything here, but let's just go ahead and see. New magnitude 0. So it's not grabbing anything. Oh, because I changed the base magnitude. I see. Okay, we're gonna maybe ask the AI to fix this system up. Sorry, I just missed a call here. Sorry about this. Got somebody working on my house that needs payment. Anyway, so yeah, there's a problem in here. So this has actually always been a problem. If I put this shield in here, what happens? Is it going to apply one shield? No, it doesn't apply one shield. Okay, so that's interesting. I guess because it's being multiplied. Okay. So this is actually the value that it's using for scaling. I see, okay. Yeah, this is just weird the way that this is working. This is just not a correct description. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on there. I'll have to figure that out. But this should be applied to now. Yep, 2 shield. Okay. Let me just get this payment sent. How's everyone doing? How are the lurkers in the chat going? I know you're there. Okay. So, this appears to be working. The shield is nice because it reduces damage. As you can see, I'm dying very slowly. And the bell resets the cooldown of the most advanced enemy card. Does this incense increases the speed of adjacent minion cards? Oh. So this shouldn't actually affect anything. Yeah. Okay. That's also wrong. This would be reduces remaining cooldown. Remaining turns. Let's do turns. Okay. This doesn't need to be capitalized. All right, let's check on the other cards as well. I should probably just make sure all of them work. Deal 1 damage, apply 2 poison. We'll check that out. Scarab, we need to make sure that this one reduce the remaining turn of adjacent mini cards. We can use this one. The Alembic, we got to make sure that one works. We know the bell works. I'm actually going to tag reset cooldown. Fix that up. So we might as well throw the Alembic in here. Oh, tricky, tricky. I can't. Oh, wait. Yes, I can. Look at that. Incense applying to both of those. And then this is going to reset the cooldown of the incense, though. So that's actually not ideal. Oh, this is nasty. Okay, hold on. We will figure this out. There we go. All right, let's see. Let's just make sure that all this works. This damage is not being updated from the Scarab. Doesn't look like anyway. Okay, so deals 3 damage. Damage increases by 1 every time it's used. Why did that not work? Let me try. Let me just see this Scarab real quick. Scarab, boom. That did 1 damage. It still says 1 damage though. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the Scarab. Okay. Damage execution gross. Damage ability 1. Execution count provider. Base value plus target ability times increment value. Dynamic magnitude ability. Let's just do gd.print. Yeah, let's do that in here. I wonder what the value is going to be with the Scarab here. Begin. Updating magnitude 1, 2. Why is it not starting at 1? Why is it not starting at 1? Let me think. Execution count provider. New execution count provider. Target ability. Target ability execution count times increment value. So the way that this should work is every time this damage ability is executed, so here, every time that damage ability is executed, it's going to, well, not every time, but, oh, maybe that's the issue. Hold on a second. Dynamic magnitude ability. Oh, maybe that's the problem. Hold on a second. Let me think about this. So the damage is going to be executed after the dynamic magnitude ability. I think it is right. You know what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go ahead and here, gd.print. I bet you the magnitude is going to be 1 ahead of the whatever the description indicates. Actually, it doesn't look like that's the case at all. Interesting. I'm going to turn the game speed down. So I have more time to see what's going on. So it did 1 damage. It's going to do 1 damage again, isn't it? No, it did 2 damage that time. So it's just not incrementing the first time. Why is it not incrementing the first time? Why is that not? Okay, well, let's use our little AI companion here. For some reason, this damage growth isn't quite working. It should deal 1 damage initially and then 2 damage on the next execution. However, it is dealing 1 damage on both the first and second executions. What in the heck? When you're using a nested set of abilities, the execution count only increments for the ability that's directly executed by the card. Since the damage execution growth class is using the dynamic ability which wraps the damage ability, the execution count isn't being tracked properly. Wait, when you're using a nested set of abilities, the execution count... Oh... What? Since the damage execution growth class is using dynamic magnitude ability, which wraps the damage ability, the execution count isn't being tracked properly. Well, how isn't? The execution count was being tracked on the wrong ability. I don't think that's true. I don't think your diagnosis is correct. Execution count is tracked even for wrapped abilities in base card. So let's see. Increment execution count. Yeah, so it's iterating over all of the abilities which is getting the wrapped abilities too, and it's executing. And then it's incrementing the execution count immediately after that. So wow, I'm glad that the AI is stumped on the issue too. When base card execute abilities for lifecycle tick runs, it collects all abilities recursively. It then executes each ability individually and increments the execution count. The problem is that dynamic magnitude ability.execute only updates the magnitude before the damage ability is executed. By the time the damage ability is executed, its execution count still hasn't been incremented yet. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. What? I don't want you to do that. No. No. Keep the dynamic. That is going to bite me in the rear in the future as well. Hello, Progyon. Welcome back. I think this is going to fix it. Okay, this is just ridiculous. I don't like this. Reject. So literally all you did was change to this. Okay, well, it helped me diagnose the issue, so that's fine. This should work now. Now the problem is I'm gonna have to remember that. Let's, is there a better way to make sure execution count is up to date before executing? Let me actually, I'm gonna stage all those. It wants to use my ability tracker. Why do you want to use my ability tracker? No, that's no. Reject. Let's just see if this works. I don't like that there's a execution order problem here, but I don't really know. Maybe the proper way to do this would be to... Is this used anywhere else? I wonder if the proper way to do this would be to make the execution count provider... Make the execution count provider only accept composed abilities. And just like propagate that value to any ability that needs it in the sub abilities here. But I don't know. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Alrighty. I don't even remember. Scarab here. So go. Deals 1 damage. Damage increases by 1 each time it's used. Deal 2 damage. Okay, so that's fixed. So it was just an order of operations issue, basically. I don't think I needed that extra language there. I think this is probably clear enough. I think players are going to understand that anything that's listed here happens on execution. So all of these effects are going to happen on execution. This is still a problem, this apply 1 shield here. So we probably should address that. I think all the rest of the abilities are good though. I think everything else works fine. I haven't tested the skeleton, but these have been running, so I'm assuming that works. Might as well throw it on there, I suppose. That art is wrong. Okay, all that appears to be working. All that appears to be working. I'm actually going to fix that art while I'm here. Hello, Breckheck. Welcome back. Good to see you. Okay, much better. Okay, excellent. Excellent, excellent. All right, so the only problem I really have now with this new description/ability composition system is I need to fix that embalming fluid. So let's do this. Various tweaks to new ability composition system. Before I do the embalming fluid stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just delete everything related to this description stuff. Delete the description generator. Oh, you know what? I can't. I shouldn't do that through here. Okay. I think that's fine. Just build and make sure. Okay. Is this used anywhere? This is not. So I'm probably just going to delete this. this too. We'll deal with the tag descriptions later. All right, so various cleanup. All right, so we're in a good spot now. Let's do the embalming fluid. Okay, let's create a new. There is a problem in @tag skilled shield, which this actually needs to be called preserve. Which increases by 1. So it applies preserve equal to the number of allied ritual cards. Modify tag scaled shield such that the description accurately reflects the behavior. There may be an opportunity to move away from scalable ability in favor of value scaler. However, scalable ability provides querying functionality, which is required for this to work properly. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. I don't like this. To be 1 preserve. I don't know what it's going to do. Okay, well, I guess that's redundant. Is that really all that it needs to do? Okay, well, I guess that works. That was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. This is actually not going to apply anything. Okay, so there's another thing that I want to do in the status component here, which is that it's applying 0 shield. I don't know why that's going. Try get value type existing status. I don't remember how this is working. Tick statuses, current statuses to values, execute. Executing the shield here. Oh no, executing here, which does nothing. If status is expired, why is it not? I don't know why. Apply status. I don't know why it's applying. It should, I have a check in there to not apply status if it's 0. Oh, that's weird. It's not applying that. So there must be something else going on then. Status applied. Oh. This signal's always being emitted. That's why. So I just need to, unfortunately, duplicate that there. This... Should I pass along the existing status? Probably. I needed to change that anyway. Okay. That should work. That should work. Okay. So now this should do nothing. Ideally, it probably shouldn't even apply that. Or play that shield animation either, when nothing's getting applied, but one thing at a time. All right, I think I'm finally feeling comfortable with this. So, fix shield application. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and rebase. I've been working on this branch for a while, but I'm finally at ease with it. So I'm actually gonna close Godot. I'm going to rebase. I'm going to do this through GitHub, actually. Take this branch, rebase it onto my master branch, and then continue on. I feel good. I finally got the description stuff done. "63 files change." Ooh, doggy. Okay. Oh, goodness. I'm just checking really quick to make sure that I'm not. Wait, did I not remove the simple description generator? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I just didn't rename it. Okay, oops. Back to Godot. That's why it's always good to review your code. I think I called it description utils. Yeah. Rename file, commit that. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so I'm going to rebase and merge this. Switch over to the master branch. I really don't trust Godot when I switch branches like that. Git fetch prune. Oh, wait. I need to delete the branch first. Okay. All right. So that's looking good. So there's one thing that I want to do with the remainder of the time for the stream here. And that is there's this very annoying bug, which I'm going to try to replicate here. So if the... Let's do this. Go to my board. Change the health component to 10, maybe 5. We'll just make it super quick. Let me go to my game utils as well. Put this back up to 3. And then... And it's good. So if something like the Viper here. It does damage and poison. If it happens to kill the enemy with the damage attack, but before the poison gets applied, I actually end up with a null reference error because the board gets deleted. So I'm trying to figure out how I want this to work. Oh, it killed me first. You're not going to get away with that. Run manager. Populate enemy board. Just do one. Okay. Put this back. So what I should see is that that's 1, 2, 3. So now I get this error. System disposed object cannot access a disposed object. So that's happening in status component here. It's trying to apply status from poison. And that's because this poison is being executed despite the fact that the enemy has died. So what's essentially happening in here is in the base card, since all the abilities are just executing, I think basically what I need to do is I need an early return in here if the enemy dies. So let me see what the AI would suggest. I think what I would probably do is I would love to be able to just stop this loop midway through if the enemy dies. I think I can listen to a signal in here. Yeah, since this is a ref counted, it's a Godot object, I can listen for signals. I'm not sure if I want to do that though. I think ideally the base card should sort of be agnostic of the overall game state and should be just reliant on this execution context for all the information that it needs. So I don't want to start introducing checks in here like if the enemy's dead, then stop executing if I can. So let me go ahead and ask the AI what it would do here. In execute abilities for lifecycle tick, it is possible to execute an ability against a board that no longer exists because it has died. Actually, I know the solution that I would use. I don't even know why I'm doing this. So basically, what I would do probably is, let's see where the game events emit died. Where is it connecting to the died signal? Died, yeah. So on enemy board died. It's calling enemy board killed here. So what I think I'd want to do is, so I'm handling the board died signal up here. In the turn manager, this is going across all the turn executors. So a turn executor belongs to a board. So it's executing the player board first, then it's executing the enemy board. It's calling do turn tick here. Inside of the do turn tick, it is getting all the cards on the board ordered by priority. It's executing the turn tick. It's running the lifecycle tick, which is calling execute abilities for lifecycle tick here. So I think what I should do is I should basically check the state of the board or the game rather after this turn tick has been done. So basically what I want to do is just keep the enemy board alive until the current card is done executing. And once it's done executing its list of abilities, that will be like a natural breakpoint. So we're going to let a card execute all of its abilities even if the enemy's already dead, because there's not going to be any problems there because the enemy, like, because it's a turn-based game, it's not like the enemy is going to be able to attack while it's dead. So we'll just let the player card finish executing so that it's guaranteed to have a valid target. And then we'll just break out of this do turn tick here. Let's see. Actually, I don't even think we need to do it here. I think we'll probably just check it in the turn manager here. We can break, so if the enemy happens to die, or the player happens to die after this turn tick. So I think I have the turn manager in here, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a method in here. Public void queue and combat, I guess we'll call it combat. Let's do private bool is combat ending. Is combat ending equals true. If is combat ending, we are going to break out of this. We might as well also just finish doing all the loops here. Okay, so in the run manager here, this is actually, I think what I'm going to do instead, on enemy board died, on player board died, let's do this. Shoot. It's going to be a little bit more complicated. I like how careful, thoughtful you are with the code. Thank you. Yeah, I try to be. I try to be. It's very important, especially in like this kind of game, not to create a spaghetti mess. Like the data has to flow very, very sensibly. And I think it's really important to isolate the functionality as much as possible. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something that's unmaintainable. So let's see. On enemy board died. So what we're going to do is we're going to say turn manager.queue end combat. And we're going to do the same here. Turn manager.queue end combat. Okay. We'll get rid of these for now. Now I'm trying to decide. I don't really want the turn manager to control much game state in here, so I might just do another signal here. Signal. Am I using encounter began? I guess I am. Okay. Okay. So in here, I'm going to just call this queued combat ended. Handled event handler. So in here, if is combat ending, queued combat handled. In my run manager here, where am I actually connecting to this? Okay, well, in here I'll just do turn manager.connect, queue combat handled, on queued combat handled. Okay, so now I need to know on player board died, on enemy board died. Let's see. Private bool is player board dead. Is enemy board dead? We'll just store these things. Man, cursor is useful just for that autocomplete alone. That's super nice. So, on queued combat handled, if is enemy board dead, then we can do all this stuff. So first of all, I should emit the combat ended signal here. On enemy board died. Oh, now I need a reference to the enemy board. I really don't like that, but if I need to store a reference to the enemy board, then I'll store a reference to the enemy board. That's fine. Okay, and then on player board died. That's not something we need to do either. Okay, so it's a little bit roundabout, but basically we're gonna queue combat ending in the turn manager. It's gonna finish executing whatever turn tick it is executing. If the combat is ending, we're gonna go ahead and break out of that loop. So we stop, oh wait. Oh, it's iterating over the cards here. So this is an iteration over the executors, but I need to break it in here as well. Man. This tick enum needs to go away too. That's an old thing. Okay, is combat ended? Where is that being set? On encounter began. On combat ended. Okay, I'm gonna take a slightly different approach to this. Let's do, let's elevate this to the game events level. So, we'll call it combat ending. Public static void emit combat ending. Okay, so rather than doing this, game events dot emit combat ending. Game events dot emit combat ending. Turn manager, we're going to get rid of this. Queue end combat, and instead, on combat ending. So that's the same thing. Queue combat handled. I'm not actually using that anywhere, so we'll get rid of that. Is combat ending. Okay, so that means that now on queued combat handled. Oh, maybe I do need that. So I basically want to know when the turn manager is done with its stuff. Okay. Yeah, so I do want to keep that. Okay. And then in the turn executor, we want to connect to on combat ending. Okay. Put the is combat ending in there. Okay, and I'm going to create a new thing. Private bool should end lifecycle There we go. So now anywhere where I've got this is combat ended, we're going to replace this with should end life cycle. So this might actually be redundant, this is combat ended, because this is guaranteed to be set after the on combat ending, but it's not a big deal to just listen for both, I suppose. Okay, if I did everything correctly, I should see that that issue no longer appears now. So what I should actually see is that the poison will be applied by the Viper even after the health reaches 0, and then after the poison animation finishes, this will be freed. Oh, it didn't work. Probably related to this turn manager not emitting this, did I remove where the signal is being emitted here? Yeah, I forgot to do that. So it just wasn't notifying. You notice how everything stopped though, which is exactly what I was expecting. I just need this to be freed now, but that's handled by the run manager. There we go, perfect. So the poison got applied once the Viper was done executing its abilities, or once the Viper was done executing its abilities, then the enemy board was freed, and now I'm in this phase where I can choose a reward, which is what I'm kind of like, what was in progress before I went on a massive detour to figure out the description stuff. Ooh, playing some inventory Tetris here. Bam. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. All right, let's see. Don't free enemy board until... So that's a very simple fix to that problem. And I think it's a pretty decent fix. Cool. All right. Well, that'll be it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here. You can purchase Gunforge. You can see the banner up at the top. Purchase Gunforge to support my work. That's a great way to do so. It's available on Steam now, and it's linked in the description below. Also, if you want to learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine, I have 2 Udemy courses available for sale. So definitely check those out if you're interested in supporting my work. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. Thanks again for watching. Thank you to the VOD watchers and lurkers out there as well. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.